joining me now live, Democratic Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren of California. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
As I understand it, you are one of the undecideds as it is today, this hour.
That's correct. I'm analyzing this, thinking about it, listening to my constituents.
What are your main concerns right now?
Well, I think we all condemn the use of chemical weapons, obviously, but the question is, if this is an international issue, shouldn't there be an international response? And what's being proposed is the United States to engage in a military attack on Syria. That's not an international action. That's a question I have, and many of my constituents have that same question. The other question is, what will we accomplish, and where does this lead to? How is this military assault part of an overall strategy for Syria and the Middle East? I don't have answers to those questions yet.
Well, we've seen the leadership on both sides, Nancy Pelosi and John Boehner, beginning the week saying that they support the president's decision here. But I want to read a little bit from this article in Politico where your name is specifically mentioned. It talks about how Nancy Pelosi has delivered the president big victories in the House during his first term, from health care to cap and trade, and she's relied heavily, as it says in this article, on a band of top lieutenants to ensure the caucus will be held together on tough votes. And your name is mentioned as one of the liberal enforcers who've been reliable behind Speaker Pelosi, former Speaker Pelosi, of course. But right now, at this point, you are not there. Why not support on this venture, given what we've heard from Secretary Kerry and the president here on the moral responsibility of the world here?
Well, I have tremendous respect for Nancy Pelosi. She is a brilliant person with the highest integrity, and she's someone I admire a great deal. But on issues of war and peace, each member of Congress has to make their own decision. This cannot be delegated to the leadership in the House. It's a moral question for each of us, and it's a question about what's in the best interests of the United States of America. Certainly, the use of chemical weapons is abhorrent. 1,500 people roughly died with those weapons, but 100,000 Syrians have been murdered prior to that. So the question is, if this is an international issue, are we being asked to participate as part of an international group? And it's not clear that we are.
Well, with that said, what we do know that is clear is the president is leaving Russia right now from this G20 summit, and as been noted, our own Chuck Todd said that the administration was hoping the president would at least be able to get half of the group to support, or at least verbally say, that a military strike is the way to go. And we're not seeing that. He is leaving with the same amount of, which is very little support, that he came there with. So any hopes of this an international floodgate opening seems to be all but disappearing, if it ever really existed.
Well, we don't know. I had a long talk with Ambassador Samantha Powers yesterday, exploring some of these issues. I'm looking forward to listening to the president on Tuesday. I do think that the statement issued by the various countries fell far short of endorsing military action. In fact, they specifically said that it should be an international effort, not the effort of a single country. So I think there's a lot more discussion that needs to take place, but that's just one of the many questions. I guess the bottom line is, where does this lead us? Once you start a war, you can't control all of the impacts. Where is America going to end up if we initiate this war action? My constituents have that same question. We need that question answered before we can act.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman, for your time. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see what Tuesday brings when the president does deliver those remarks. And let me bring in now our News Nation panel right now.